going into the draft. Do you trade Justin Fields? I mean, that's the big question now, because no matter what Eberflus coming back and a new offensive staff, it does matter who's going to be under center, because that's the whole problem with this team. Not enough production offensively. That's why everyone got blown up on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, everything's open. Right. The trade him, picking at the first pick, trading down, picking down later. Identify the quarterback you think is the stud in this group. I swear to you, if the Bears kept the first pick last year, Bryce Young was going to be the first pick. So, everybody says you passed on C.J. Stroud. You didn't pass on C.J. Stroud. You would have taken Bryce Young. There's no way in the world I think the Chicago Bears can find a way, the way they've treated quarterbacks over the course of a lifetime in their history of the Chicago Bears, were they going to go off of Bryce Young and choose C.J. Stroud at the number one position? Sorry, I just don't believe it.
I'm going to hand it off to Carm here in a moment. Hoodie, he has entered the studio. I did want to let everyone know that the offensive player of the week in the NFC, Jordan Love.
Yeah, well, that's the way it happens. Yeah.
Yep, after he beat our ass, Jordan Love.
Plus, you had a bunch of nobodies. Not nobody, but you had a bunch of guys really not playing in the final week of the season. A lot of quarterbacks set and watched. But, yeah, good for him. Good. Congratulations to Jordan Love. It's a certificate he can put on the wall. Congratulations.
You mean like perfect attendance?
Yeah,
we were kids?
Exactly. That's what these weekly things are. Nobody really gives a rat's ass. I don't know anybody that's got a bonus in their contract for being a player of the week. I've never even heard of that bonus. Getting your 10th sack of the year like Chris Jones did and celebrating like a madman because he got $1 million bonus. Now, I've seen those bonuses before, and that's why people are happy when you actually do something on the field and you get a real bonus, which is money. Certificates of achievements are just that. They're worthless pieces of paper. I learned that on searching for Bobby Fischer. Yeah, when they kept throwing the pieces of paper and the certificates on the ground, right? And the mom kicked them out of the thing. Ben Kingsley. Poor Ben Kingsley. Trying to teach the kid a lesson. He got taught a lesson in humility. So, there you go.
All right, Hoodie, have a wonderful rest of your day. We're going to hand it off to Carmen and Yurko.
That's right. Enjoy Northern Iowa, Johnny.
Thanks very much. It's 8 inches of snow, by the way. 8 inches of snow.
Is that Rob? What's going on? We've had Rob on the show before.
Yeah, bring him in. Let's get his Bears thoughts.
Yeah. What do you think? He will. He will. He's not much for public funding of stadiums either, so, oh boy. If he ever gets back in charge, the Bears might get a little nervous.
Yeah. That and more coming up here on WLS.
Wow. All right, guys.
Good game tonight.
All right.
Thanks for the wonderful work, fellas. We're going to take it over now as we move forward. The news of the day here on ESPN Radio 1000, the official network of the Chicago Bears. Luke Getsy, gone. 2 more assistants, gone. Firings have been made. They've been made on the offensive side of the football. It looks like Matt Eberflus is going to stay after Adam Schefter reported a little bit earlier today. Released a tweet. Looks like Eberflus stays for now. And I think that's the way I would put it. Eberflus stays for now. Big news, big shakeup up at Hallis Hall. Who's the offensive coordinator going to be? I heard Cappy and Hoodie talking about the list of 15.
Yeah,
Shane Orling, list of 15 names. I'm like, sweet heavens, it's a lot of names to go over.
It's a lot of names.
Half of those I didn't even know who the hell they were.
I don't know
any of those guys. Do you love Jordan Love? Do you love Jordan Love?
I don't love Jordan Love.
You don't love any of these OC guys, though.
No, but give us your opinion on these OCs. I don't know who that guy is.
Well, what are you going to do? You got to be honest. So what you got to do is
Brown took over for a few weeks in Carolina. Carolina didn't score a point its last 2 games.
That's a problem.
They didn't score a point.
Again, it might not be his fault.
No, I know, but
well, they were helping the Bears solidify the number 1 pick. So, we should be happy that they weren't scoring any points.
They didn't score a point.
Yeah. That's
the last 8 quarters. I
wonder if you stick with something at Baltimore or somebody that's been associated with
Cap was a no, but Greg Roman to me is still kind of interesting because at least he's built offenses around players with a similar skill set of
How long was he in Baltimore?
5 years, 6 years?
So, I think that's what it was.
2019, I thought, right?
Well, today's 2025.
Or 2018. I think 2018 was his first year at Baltimore. Either 18, 19, 20, 21, 30. Yeah, 5 years.
They had to have some positive years together there.
Oh, of course.
So,
Lamar Jackson.
Roman is
as the.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm talking
As the
about.
coordinator.
There had to be some positivity there. I don't know why it ended at the end. I don't know what.
I think
between
that
Roman
offense
and
got
John Harbaugh.
I think Harbaugh wanted
Had to make
stale.
a change because it just got stale. Yeah.
2017.
Well, 2017. So he was there for 6 years.
And then he became assistant head coach and tight ends coach, then the offensive coordinator in 19. So he was there 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23.
He was also the offensive coordinator in Buffalo, I think, when Tyrod Taylor was there, right? I think
15
Shea
and
said that.
16, and then the coordinator in 11 to 14 in San Francisco.
Right.
And after that, before that, he was in college and was with the Baltimore Ravens before that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
So
Greg Roman's
he's
kind
been
of
around.
interesting.
Yeah, he's been around.
Probably out of everybody on that list, he might be the most interesting out of all of them.
If you're sticking with Justin and you want to try to get him, you've always said it, can you get him to be as good as Lamar? I don't think you can. I don't think a coach can magically make that happen. I think look, they obviously help. Brian Daboll gets a lot out of quarterbacks.
So what I need-
Harbaugh gets a lot out of quarterbacks.
I need a coordinator to make the offense as efficient as possible and make a quarterback as efficient as he possibly can be. Put him in the best position to be able to complete his tasks at hand. That's what I'm looking for out of an offensive coordinator.
It's like Daboll does a good job of that, I think.
Yeah.
I think Ben Johnson does a good job of that.
Who gets the most out of their
I
talent?
think Shanny does a good job.
Getting Jared Goff, but Jared Goff still has his I'm going to step back games, right? I'm going to go
Sure.
backwards 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm going to look like a fool against the Chicago Bears.
Not many anymore, but yeah, he still has those from
Yeah,
time
he
to time.
has them, and then you'll see a throw or two that makes you scratch your head and go, well, he gets it, but he doesn't get it. But overall, Matt Stafford, the guy up at
Goff played his
Jared
best
Goff.
football
Yeah,
with
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson.
Yes. Goff is
Right.
and there's a more of a maturity level too now where he's at. Greg Roman's only 51. He'll be
Yeah,
52 in the football season. So we're not talking about an aged, out of whack, somebody that doesn't understand
No.
football. He's not 68. He's not 72.
He's a year removed.
There you go.
Took a year off, maybe rejuvenated himself a little bit. Frank Reich is going to be an obvious guy that comes up because of the relationship he
And
has
there's
with
a
Matt
trust factor.
Eberflus.
There's a trust factor.
Like they know each other. They've worked together. They've been on a staff together.
But here's my thing: if Roman is hired, I think Justin Fields stays as the quarterback.
You might be right,
If the other guy's hired,
Frank Reich.
Frank Reich, I think you're getting a new quarterback this year. So there's your telltale sign of what I think is going to happen at the quarterback position.
You might be able to connect some dots.
And I believe they hire the coach before they make a decision on the quarterback.
Well, they're almost going to have to, right?
Well, that's my point.
They're going to have to.
Which is why my indicator is right there. Your indicator is going to be there for what they plan on doing with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
So just so you know, unless they come out and say Justin Fields is our quarterback, which they won't do. Do you know why? Because you don't want to sully that number one pick.
Right.
People need to think that you're going to take
taking
Caleb
a quarterback.
Williams. Yes, they need to think that. And they need to think that Justin Fields is going to. Half the league needs to think one thing, half the league needs to think the other.
Right.
Okay, that's where you find yourself in, and that's okay.
That's the game you have to play.
Oh, welcome aboard ESPN Radio 1000 today. I look crazy today.
A little crazy,
All of a sudden,
yeah.
I got the alert on my phone, and it was like, Rams reaching 51. I'm sliding down the pole, putting my boots and my fire suit on, getting ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So here we are.
We're here early. No word on when the press conference is going to be.
It'll be sometime today, I'm
Today or
assuming.
tomorrow, even.
Why would
maybe.
they wait a day?
I don't know. Well, why wouldn't they have announced it yet?
Carnage.
Have any official announcement from the Bears? Whenever there is a press conference, you'll hear it here on your home for Bears football. Courtney Cronin will join us at 1, regardless, to give us, unless all of a sudden they schedule a press
Right,
conference.
at 1 o'clock.
Courtney's scheduled to join us at 1. Watto and Sylvie up at 2. Black and Abdallah tonight, 6 until 8. Matt Eberflus stays, which, again, I don't think is the biggest shock. I think it might be upsetting for some Bear fans. Some Bear fans might love it. So you can ring us up at 312-332-3776. As always, hit us up on Twitter. Yurko's at Yurko64. That's Yurko with the J. I'm at Carmen DeFalco. You had a chance where you could have probably upgraded your head coach. They chose not to. Jim Harbaugh would have been an upgrade. Dare I say Mike Vrabel would have been an upgrade. I'm a big Ben Johnson fan, but there's not a track record for Ben Johnson. So if you want to say you can't really say he's an upgrade, I get that. He's not a proven commodity. He's never been a head coach. I understand that. But Jim Harbaugh and Mike Vrabel would have been upgrades. Do you agree?
Yes, I would agree.
They could have done that. They chose not to. I hope it doesn't come back to bite them.
I think you get more on the offensive side of the football with an offensive head coach.
I think you're probably
That's
right.
why Eberflus got to be confident in the fact of who he hires and who he brings in. Knowing that the vast improvement on this team going from this year to next year needs to happen on the offense. And there also needs to be improvement on the defense. We can be very specific on the defense, what's necessary, and what would make them more successful. But at least we saw signs of life with turnovers and sacks, and they're heading in the right directions after being abysmal in 2022. So, and how much of an improvement was it, and where do they settle in the league? Okay, you weren't going to be god-awful again like you were last year. You started that way, but once Sweat got here, you finished in a wonderfully different manner. Yeah. So, what will it be this year as you start moving forward? So, we got an off-season that's going to be exciting.
Just like last year. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
Interrupted by coaching hires and the great game of football, which is wonderful.
What do you mean?
By whoever starts to get hired around the rest of the NFL. And the wonderful games that we have on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Yeah. That'll be a distraction from what we're worried about here in the city of Chicago.
Do you realize we're down to 13 games?
Yes.
We got 13 games left. That's it, you guys. Yep. Enjoy it. And I'll enjoy the hell out of this weekend. I like kind of how it's... I don't love the Monday night, but okay, I get why the league does it.
Saturday night. You don't love the Saturday night.
I don't mind that. I hate that it's on Peacock.
That's my point. You don't like the Saturday night.
I'm still trying to figure out,
It's on the cock.
How I'm going to do this?
Get your 1 month
free.
free.
McDowell, don't give me that look. I know, go free Reddit.
No. This is ridiculous, okay? Yeah. This is ridiculous. You have $6. Just pay it. Like, I don't understand the whole... Just pay it. Then, kid, you can literally sign up, pay for it, and then hit end subscription, and it will end it for you in a month.
Really?
Just pay for it. It's $6.
You like The Office? Watch The Office.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back and watch The Office. I mean, if Dallas says it's that easy, maybe I will do that because I want to watch that game.
Just pay $6.
By the way, do you know what the game time temperature in Arrowhead's going to be for Dolphins and Chiefs?
-5, they said?
They're looking at -5.
I played in 0-degree temperatures, -20 wind chill.
They're saying it could be one of the coldest playoff games on record.
Good. Dress warmly is what I would tell people.
I mean, at that point, does it even matter that, like, Miami's coming up from the south because
everybody's going to be freezing? Everybody's going to be cold.
Like, if it's 25, you can kind of say, we're a little more used to it. 25, no big deal for us. It's going to be a bad deal for the Dolphins.
I would say, no, it really affects the Dolphins.
More so?
I mean, it's uncomfortable, but with all the technology they've got with Wear Now and everything.
They should have their field cheer jackets, right? That's what I'd be wearing on the sideline, Adam. Field cheer.
Yeah, wonderful. Yes.
I have it. Warm yourself up on the sideline.
All right, and if you know how to keep your feet warm, you put a little layer of Vaseline on your feet.
Yes.
And when you go and you put your feet in that little white bench, and they got the flames coming through there.
Yes.
It warms the Vaseline up. Now, it doesn't cook the Vaseline. It just warms the Vaseline up, which then warms your feet.
Does it warm the cockles of your heart, too?
It could do that also.
I am excited for the games. And look, we have so much going on with Bears and like all this. I do at some point this week, and I thought maybe we'd do it today, talk to you about some of the matchups. I rewatched the first KC Dolphins game last night, Yerk, the game that was in Germany. I like to go back and watch some of if they've met before in the regular season.
Right.
Browns, Texans, I did the same thing, although it's hard to glean anything from that game. Stroud didn't play. That was the game Amari Cooper went off.
Here's the other thing. Tyreek Hill has played in Kansas City in cold weather before.
He has.
He's played in chilly weather. He knows what it's about.
Yeah.
But when you're in Florida and your blood thins, and that's what happens when you get into Florida. When you get up north in the cold, wintry weather, your blood thickens. When you get down south, your blood thins.
They got to deal with that. The big news story for the Dolphins is they don't have healthy players on defense. None.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
They've lost everybody. It's kind of sad.
They might look like the old Kansas City Chiefs this week.
Dude, they're signing Bruce Irvin and Justin Houston off the scrap heap. That's how desperate they are. They've got nobody to play. They've got no pass rushers left. Their two interior guys are healthy with
Did you hear how they wanted to get Eric Bieniemy back?
Who, in KC?
Yeah, Kansas City. They wanted to bring Eric Bieniemy back, but Washington and their owner wouldn't release him. Who was it, Josh Harris out there?
Josh Harris, really?
I didn't release him. Oh, no, it was out there.
Wow.
They're hoping to get Bieniemy back, maybe to get a little bit of a different rhythm with the play calling. Obviously, what does that mean? Who aren't they happy with?
So is Nagy calling plays? Why is Nagy calling plays? I don't know. We'll get into that a little bit later, especially as the week goes on. Friday, I look forward to it with you on Friday. Really kind of breaking down all 6 games. We'll talk to Furman tomorrow.
live in Vegas. Casey's in Kenosha on ESPN 1000. Hey, Casey.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, man.
Hey, I wanted to call and touch a few points about this Bears organization this morning. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the Luke Getsy hiring. That was not a surprise. I think we all kind of knew that by week 3 or 4 that was not going to work. I feel like, honestly, going forward, we made a really big mistake, or at least right now, not even kicking the tires on the Harbaugh deal, because if you look at Jim Harbaugh and his record, it speaks for itself. He's won 44 and 52 in college. He's 49 and 22 in the NFL. His playoffs, he's 5-3. The guy's a winner. And if you're trying to elevate this team and go forward, as you're saying, he's proven. And I think if we're talking about proven quarterbacks, like we want proven quarterbacks born from college, well, why are we not doing the same thing for coaches? And if you got a coach out there that's looking like this, and he wants to coach this team possibly, he did play for the Bears, why wouldn't you kick the tires on it? So
I don't know. Maybe they did, Casey. Maybe they got the idea for he wanted nothing to do with it. I don't know, Casey. It's a good question, though. It sure appears that there were a couple of candidates out there that you could have, that would have been upgrades. We're not talking about hiring guy 10, that maybe is not an upgrade over Matt Eberflus. But if you're talking about Harbaugh especially, and maybe even Vrabel, I think you bring up a good point. Maybe they did kick the tires on him and they were told, don't bother. He doesn't want to coach your organization.
Yeah, that's possible. But, we really, that's the problem here. We really don't know. We really won't know.
That's true.
And that's the sad part. It's like, geez, guys, it's been years since we've beaten the Packers, and that shouldn't be our goal. Our goal should be trying to bring championships here. This organization is top 5 in most top 5 in the most wealthiest franchises, and we haven't won since '85.
It's crazy.
I mean, as a fan, I've been a fan a lifetime, born and raised. Okay, I live in Kenosha, but I'm from Chicago. Okay, and I have to eat a lot of crow from Packer fans, man.
Yeah, it's got to be hard living north of the curtain up there. I mean, geez.
Oh man, I only came up here for work. Okay, trust me, it's a deal. But I'll touch this last point and I'll go. I think that right now, after watching this organization, once the deal with Lovie Smith happened when they fired him, and honestly, I don't think they really thought Lovie was going to be as good as he turned out to be. I don't know if this organization is truly dedicated to winning when it comes to paying the price for it. And honestly, that has been proven as far as what we've seen. They don't really pay the top dollar for the best guy. They'll do it for linebackers. They'll do it for our defense. We all know that. But when it comes to it, like coaching and even offense, Jay probably was the highest paid quarterback we've had. Am I correct?
Well, I'm sure he was, because they haven't had many good ones. No, but listen, Casey, thanks for the phone call. I'll say this. First of all, in the NFL, I mean, to talk about what teams spend and don't spend, everybody has to spend, right? I mean, there's a minimum anyway. Most teams, now you reset your cap every once in a while. The Bears had to do that, but that was healthy. That wasn't bad. They didn't go on the cheap the last 2 years. They just tried to reset their cap. The Bears spend money on players. Every team does in a sense, and every team has to. The notion that this is not the 80s anymore. This is not letting Wilbur Marshall go. Because you didn't want to pay him and there was no salary cap. Like, teams spend, the Bears spend money. I mean, they just spent a lot of money on Montez Sweat. They're going to spend a lot of money on Jalen Johnson. They spend money.
You don't have to spend money on young players yet.
Which is a good thing.
Right. Well, I don't necessarily believe that, but you don't have to spend money on young players yet. They reset it in the NFL with the quarterbacks that were getting tremendous contracts coming out their rookie years. Yeah, their signing bonuses and their contracts. But that was setting the market for all the veteran quarterbacks.
It kind of was.
I don't know what the veteran quarterbacks were crying about. When their contract was up, those young kids were the ones that were setting the market.
Like Bradford and Stafford, remember? It was those.
So what the NFL actually did was they convinced the old guys that, well, we'd have money for you if we didn't have to pay. And the plan was never to then reward somebody else. It was just a way of controlling their own costs.
No, yeah.
By introducing the tier system. So it was never a benefit for the players. The players that thought it was a benefit and negotiated that in the deal were kind of idiots.
That's a benefit for the owner, I would agree. But the notion that, like, you're not going to spend on players, like, we shouldn't be arguing that anymore.
Right. Now, there's a salary cap, there's a salary minimum.
Yeah, like
you've got to spend. And if you don't spend on a player because you don't think he's worth it, that's why you don't spend on a player. If you don't think he's worth it, you're not going to spend on him.
They didn't go cheap on Roquan. They didn't think he was worth the money. Baltimore might turn around and say to you, take a look. But, okay, you did it your way. T.J. Edwards had a very good year. Edmonds had a good year. They've got basically both for the price of one. Like, the little nuance there, like, I don't think the Bears were cheap because they didn't sign Roquan. They viewed that better investments are made in other areas and not off-ball linebackers for $20 million a year. Okay,
and they did Roquan a favor.
Yeah, of course they did.
They did him a favor. At the end of the day, he avoided 2 years of football, the developing team,
right?
And he's with a playoff team.
He's at the top seed.
If anything, he should say, guys, thanks for everything.
Now,
I appreciate it.
Do you want to talk about, like, will the Bears ever fully commit the way other owners will in non-salary cap issues? That's a fine debate to have, and I would probably say, no, the McCaskies are not going to pay a coach $20 million a year. And if you want to criticize them for that, have at it. I don't mind. They should be criticized for it. If their people identify a coach and say, this is the man to get, and they balk because of price, then they should be called out for that. They are the owners of the Chicago Bears. And if you can't afford to pay them $20 million, or a coach that you deem fit $20 million, sell the team to somebody who can. You want to rip them for that? Go ahead. Yeah, have at it. If they went in the last 24 hours and said, Jim Harbaugh's our guy, we got to go get him, and McKenzie said, we're not paying a coach $20 million a year, and I have no idea that that's the case. Right. You want to rip them for that? Fine. But, like, to wring our hands over, like, the players they pay or don't pay.
They invested in Eddie Jackson. They said Eddie was worth it. They went to him before they ever had to go to Eddie Jackson, and they gave him a new deal and got him up to par with what top safeties were making.
Right? Yes, they did. They made him
that when that happened?
Paid, I believe.
Thank you.
I think he was the highest paid safety.
Thank you. That's the decision they made. Then they had another safety they decided they didn't want to sign. He signed with Green Bay.
Adrian Amos.
Thank you, Adrian Amos. They said, well, he wants the same kind of money, but we don't think he's that kind of player, so we're going to let him go.
They paid Kyle Fuller. When they probably shouldn't have, but okay.
Well, you had the 1 year where you had 7 interceptions. You looked like a world beater. The pass rush was there.
Not a world beater.
And then all of a sudden he reverted back to being what he was
back
before.
To anything.
Well, he had 1 year. He did, whether you like it or not.
You said why he had that year.
Yeah.
You said exactly why he had that year. He didn't revert back to anything. He was never special. And we were right about that. We don't have to go back down that road. But they've paid players. Sometimes they've made mistakes. I know. So I don't think it's an issue of, like, I don't know how many times we can't keep having the debate about, like, they don't pay players. It's not true. They do. Sometimes they pay the wrong players. That's the problem.
That's the dilemma. When you pay the wrong players, it screws up your cap situation.
We got a bunch of phone calls.
Let's go to them.
Well, we got to take one quick break.
All right.
If there's any offensive coordinator that you have in mind, or any of the ones that you heard us bantering about that you like or don't like, you can let us know. I'd be thinking big if I were them. So who is that? Is it Greg Roman after a year off? Is it Frank Reich, or do you look at the last sort of year and a half of his tenure with Indy and the half year he had with Carolina and go, oof? I don't know what happened to Frank Reich. There was a time when I really liked him as head coach, but it hadn't been good the last couple years. Now, is he better as a coordinator? 312-332-3776. You can ring us up. We'll take a bunch of your calls. We're here till 2. We'll cross-talk with Waddle and Sylvie then. Courtney Cronin scheduled to join us at 1. If we get news on a press conference, we'll let you know, and you'll hear it here live on your home for the Bears.
You're listening to Carmen and Yurko on ESPN Chicago, Chicago's home for sports.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Jackie Robinson may have broken the color barrier, but he wasn't the first black baseball star. The players who came before him, including my grandpa, Norman Turk Stearns, competed in a segregated league.
They were denied their rightful place in history.
We're going to uncover the stories of the Negro Leagues and the baseball greats you've never heard of. Reclaim the Forgotten League. Listen now, wherever you get your podcasts.
When your cat's a lady, when your dog is too.
And it's hard to know what's fake or true.
Just raise the glass with a friend or two.
Tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do.
When the online trends keep getting worse, and you lost your keys in the metaverse.
Parents life just went left on you.
Tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. It's a crazy world, so what do you do?
If you're just tuning in, this is Fan 23, Fansville's #1 sports radio station. Brought to you by Tasty Dr. Pepper. We are settling the great debate, best third quarter snack, hot dogs or nachos. You know my mantra, Doug. Yes. Eating early, cheesy late. Well, it looks like we have a caller here to weigh in. Is this Chuck?
Popcorn in the third is the move.
What?
You go with passive snacking after halftime.
No, it's nachos. Look, as long as there's an ice cold Dr. Pepper there to wash it down, I'm good with either. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
Long day. Time to charge up.
Hey, just like my delivery truck.
Even kids know to keep business moving forward, it's time to make the switch to electric vehicles. Whether you have one van or a whole fleet of trucks, resources are available to help you make the changes that make sense.
Let's go.
Beep, beep.
Go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come.
True Chicago-style pizza? It's not what out-of-towners think it is. True Chicago-style is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. Thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made with the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, enjoyed everywhere. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
Family. Isn't that what the holidays are all about? You know, this family. The Acura family. Get in the holiday spirit at the Acura seasonal performance event going on now.
Advantage Acura.
Zoning out on that Zoom meeting? Zoom. Find out what Carmen and Yurko were talking about. Tell your smart speaker to play ESPN 1000.
All right, Blue's staying, it appears. But it's kind of felt that way for like the last, 3-4 weeks. And I don't think it's a shock, right, that the offensive staff takes the blame, or they're the sacrificial lamb.
Whether you like it or not, they have become the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, Geno goes out. Yeah, Mike Tolbert is out. Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator, is out. Where does Matt Eberflus go from here? Where do the Bears go from here in terms of the OC? That is the question, my friend. So we're on a little early. Breaking Bears news today. We're still waiting on word of when the press conference is going to be. 312-332-3777 is the number. Let's go to Brian. Brian's been hanging for a while. Brian. He's down in Sarasota. What's up, Brian?
Hey, love the show. Die-hard ESPN 1000 fan and Bears fan.
All right. Thanks.
I've been in Florida since '97, so I've been to Miami, a Bears game, and watched Ricky Williams run for 234 yards. I've been to Tampa, where they were losing 32-0 at halftime.
I was at that game, Brian.
Were you?
I was. Yep.
I left in the third quarter. Smart. So I have a 7-year-old stepson who's been with me this whole season, but I'm a casual NFL fan and college fan. So you don't have to be a diehard to know that Nick Saban, John Harbaugh, I mean, the list goes on. There are winners. There are coaches that are winners. If I find out that the Bears organization didn't put their ego aside for whatever reason and didn't pick up the phone and call Jim Harbaugh, they are not getting my fandom until they make the playoffs again. I refuse to watch. I refuse to get on a plane. I refuse to go to a game. They need a winner. I don't have a problem with Eberflus, but if you can upgrade and you didn't pick up the phone, then that starts at the top, and there are issues and reasons, and I am done. Finished.
All right, there you go, Brian. Thanks. And he made the smart move. How long did he say he's been in Sarasota? What did he say, 20 years?
74 years.
74 years? I don't know if it was that long, but
22 years, I believe.
a balmy 68 in Sarasota today.
Well, and they consider that cold down there.
Do they?
Yeah, they're not very happy about that.
68? My God.
Well, wait till this weekend. And we'll see what it is.
I don't. I saw it again this morning.
This weekend.
I saw Tracy. She's got the graphics on her Instagram, and I saw in the news early this morning. There's the 5-day and 2,
They'll be
5, 1.
They'll be putting candles on their oranges in Florida again. Trust me when I say that. We're going to lose the Florida orange crop this year.
Florida orange crop. I can't do it, Yerk. What are we going to do? Plus, now I got to pay $6 for Peacock.
Yeah,
Dallas said.
You're going to have to pay $6 for Peacock.
I got to go buy Peacock for $6.
You're going to have to spend a couple $100 at Olive Garden for
Yeah. By the way, who is buying? I'm not buying, right? I mean,
the loser.
Does the loser have to buy? Not only do I have to eat Olive Garden, I have to pay for it? I think you guys should have to pay for it.
No! We're not paying for you to eat Olive
You're
Garden.
going to get so much joy out of this, Abdallah. I think you're the very least.
No.
I think we're all
like
adults.
We're
We
going
just
Dutch.
all pay for our own meals.
We're going Dutch.
Dutch.
I mean, with the amount of content we're going to generate out of this, I think you guys should take the company card and maybe...
That's a good call.
Maybe make it too expensive. I don't know.
Maybe
Just saying.
Andy should give us the company card.
Good luck.
I kind of agree with that idea by Adam. Tom's in Oak Lawn on the southwest side. Hey, Tom, you doing?
What's up, guys? So, I'd like to think on the positive on all this. First of all, Yurko's working really hard for that extra comp day that Danny's
you know it. You know
it.
Appreciate that. Already planning. He's got his plan for an extra day in the spring.
And secondly, I'm glad that they did this announcement right now, because now they are telling me that they're not really serious about continuity or winning or anything like that, because I've seen this movie. I've read this book. It does not end. I mean, it has a happy ending, just not for Bears fans. We've just gone through all of this with John Fox and Ryan Pace, and then Ryan Pace with Matt Nagy, and then again with Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. So even if they do plan on getting draft a new quarterback, I see it again and again and again. It's the same sort of deal. So at least they're telling me this now. So then I don't have to worry about looking at mock drafts. I don't have to worry about looking at the debates on whether we should keep Justin Fields or draft Caleb Williams or trade the number 1 pick to get a boatload of picks or anything like that, because we're still going to be in the same circle of suck that we've been in year after year after year, until finally somebody up there is whether somebody is up there serious about actually winning. But the other good thing is I've got my Notre Dame Irish. I can watch them. I've got high school football. My little guy's going to be moved up to the varsity. He'll be playing with big boys next year, so I can concentrate on his team. So No, I still have
So
football.
you're telling me you're not following the Bears anymore. I guarantee you'll be on the line tomorrow.
You know he will.
I guarantee it.
And when
You'll be on the line tomorrow wanting to talk about the Bears.
When they make a draft choice, or when they make the trade of Justin Fields, depending
You'll
upon
be
what
on the
happens.
line.
When the OC gets hired, absolutely.
Who are you kidding?
He'll be back. He's in Oak Lawn. You know you're coming back. Your Fridays and your Saturdays are taken with high school football and with Notre Dame football. But guess what happens on Sunday? What's the thing, Carp? Give me
The
the
red
thing.
zone. The red zone. That's what's going to happen.
What's wrong with that? That's still the NFL, baby.
All right, Tommy. He'll be on the line tomorrow. Who's
Yes,
he? Who's
Tommy,
he
no
kidding?
fun. We're going to be looking out for him now. Tommy, we're going to be looking for you.
He's crazy.
We should meet him at the Hooters there at 93rd.
Sure.
93rd and Cicero, right there in Oak Lawn.
Like, Tom's and his brother aren't going to be at Football Fest in August at Hard Rock? Of course they will be.
Of course they will
With
be.
their Bear stuff on.
With their pitchers of beer.
Now, we might be in the
Tommy and
circle
Phil.
of sock.
Tommy and Phil.
Is his brother's name Phil?
Phil.
Is it Phil? I can't remember what is Tommy's brother's name.
Tommy and Phil. I'm telling you it's Phil.
Are you sure?
He can call back and tell you it's Phil.
All right.
I tell you 100% it's Phil.
They might be stuck in the circle of sock, but we're
remember-
never getting out of it. It's like a black hole.
I remember at the old San Remo Hotel, which they turned into the Hooters Hotel in Vegas.
Was he with you guys?
Tommy and Phil were right there with us. Absolutely.
Really?
100%.
Boy, that was forever.
That was forever ago. They were wee lads back then.
Wow. Yeah, we're all stuck in the circle of sock. Tommy, just accept. Come on.
I mean, I love Notre Dame football
Okay.
too. I mean, geez.
So full of it.
Come on.
So full of it. Like he's done with them, sure. None of us can. We can't quit them. No. I wish I knew how to quit you.
I can't quit you.
I don't know how. I wish I knew how to quit you, Bears. I mean, I'm still cheering for the White Sox. It's not so easy, Yerk, to just say I'm done with them. I love the White Sox. Let that sit in for a second.
Oh, I get it. I
It's
understand.
not so easy to just quit your team.
I understand. You signed a 37-year-old catcher
who can't play anymore. His
It
defense,
makes me laugh.
I guess defensively he was still
I
pretty good
don't-
last year. He can't, dude, I mean, he can't hit 105.
I would have laughed more. The guy you signed or the guy the Cubs signed yesterday, lefty.
Yeah, what do you know about it?
Nothing.
Big sweeping curveball.
Yeah, 188 strikeouts in like 133 or 153 innings.
That's good. It's over strikeout.
Yeah, but he's striking out Japanese players that aren't major leaguers.
That's true.
Come on.
I wish I knew how to quit you, White Sox and Bears.
See that little slow rolling
I
curveball
can't quit you.
coming up against Mike Trout. Well, if they play LA, the Angels. Goodbye to you. Goodbye to you.
I'm sorry, this is Jim at Crystal Lake on ESPN 1000. Hey, Jim.
Jimmy.
Hey, you guys, how's it going? Yurko, I gotta give you a little bit of garbage here.
Please
take that, and then I've got a question for you guys.
All right.
So, great prediction last week, Yerk. You predicted 3 interceptions by Jordan Love, and he turns out to be Offensive Player of the Week.
I did.
So that was a good one.
I can't even claim the fumble as something productive on my side. I can't.
Right.
I did predict
Right.
3
Well,
interceptions, and they had their hands on one. And if they could have got the first one, maybe it would have resulted in more. But unfortunately for the Bears, it did not.
Yeah, you're taking it really well.
Yeah.
So my question though is, I'm pretty proud of the Bears for what they did here with their offensive, getting rid of all those guys. Do you guys feel like I do that this is a step up for the Bears? This is something that shows signs of the new regime. It's not the old Bears where they're content. Do you feel like the old regime would have kept those guys on a little bit longer? And also, with that same question, do you think Kevin Warren had anything to do with this?
Yeah, I think he's made it very clear that he's involved in football decisions. So yeah, I don't know, Jim. I wouldn't say that things are much different now. This feels like they're content. You potentially could have hired Jim Harbaugh. Now again, maybe they reached out to Don Yee, and Don Yee said, "Nope, there's zero interest from my client." Okay, then you're SOL, I guess. But you could have upgraded with a couple of guys that are available. It sort of feels like it's still the same old, same old. We're content. We're good.
Do you ever feel like the fact that maybe Jim Harbaugh at some point reached out to the Bears when they had an opening and said, I'd love to be able to coach the Bears, and the Bears had turned him down? Maybe once,
Like
maybe
a couple,
twice.
like the previous cycle?
Yeah.
When they were hiring Eberflus?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. Do you ever get that feeling that might have been that way? And now that he's the hot name and the hot commodity, if they came knocking on his door, he said, you had a chance to hire me 3 times, and you guys told me go blow it out my ass.
Maybe.
And guess what now? And that's just a hypothetical. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened. But maybe there was communication before, and it was reacted to coldly by the Chicago Bears if he was extending an inquisition on or a question of whether that job is open and he'd like to be interested for it. Maybe something happened in the past that soured him on the Chicago Bears.
Tom and Oaklawn's brother is Kevin. I knew it wasn't Phil. I think you're thinking of different brothers.
I'm thinking of Big Tom and Big Phil.
Yeah, you're thinking of Big Phil.
I'm thinking of Tommy and Phil. You know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
And he's always at the football feast.
That's what I was going to say. Like, Tom and Oaklawn, I don't think it was even old enough to be in Vegas with you guys when you were there. That was like 2004 when you guys were there.
You want to beat me over the head with the knowledge that I had the wrong Tom and Phil? Okay, I agree with you. Yes,
Tom and Oaklawn was like 11 when you guys went to the San Remo.
Got you.
That's awesome.
The beautiful San Remo.
That is so great. I do remember that trip. Harding is in Charlotte on ESPN 1000. Hey, Harding.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. So I'm calling to file a grievance with you guys.
All right, Harding, what's going on?
Johnny the Good Kid Yurko. I am a graduate of Thornton Fractional North 2004. I am a mighty meteor. There is no way that you should have allowed Carmen DeFalco to handle the end of my call yesterday with such negligence. Justin Fields has a lot of blame in this situation. The reason he's polarizing is because of what Carmen did at the end of my call. They keep saying, oh, there's no blame, so many excuses. No, he has a lot of blame in that situation.
You said you're promoting a narrative of he can't do this, he can't do that. And you blamed everybody else across the board on that offense. That's exactly what you did.
The very first thing I said was, I am of the ilk that we should draft Caleb Williams. That's the very first thing I said.
Carm.
That's the first thing I said, Carm. So when I say the narrative you're pushing is he can't make throws, the man has every physical challenge you could possibly ask in a throwing arm.
When have I said he can't make throws? I've said he won't make throws. He won't.
Okay, Carm. We can argue that all day. What I wanted to call and say was, Greg Roman will now be an offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. I'm in a Madden league with 18 of 32 users with Baltimore Ravens fans during that time when Greg Roman was there. When I tell you the complaints duplicate the Getsy situation, it's sickening to see how mirroring that was. But let me say this. The offensive coordinator, I'm willing to bet anybody at the station, give me a Lou Manetti card or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't get one 5 years ago from what's his name at the 9 o'clock slot with Hoodie. What's his name? Cap.
Yeah.
I'm missing one that I won. But anyways, the name that's going to end up happening, Tom Clements. Go look up who that is.
Jeez. All right. I don't know about that.
Now Harding,
I don't know about that.
To support Harding, in the first year where they had that breakout season where he was the MVP, they averaged 33.2 points per game. Okay, in 2019, in 2022, they only averaged 20.6. After a ton of pressure from fans and a little bite back from the players, that's when he resigned.
Right, he wouldn't go deep with passing.
Right, but
fans always complain about
they dropped 12.6 points a game. They dropped the offensive points.
You can't make your determination though on that, Harding, based on fans in your fantasy league that are Baltimore.
Carm, I'm joking. There's a little bit of satire there.
I figured there was a little satire.
Wait, before I get off though, if I ever see you in person, Carm, I will be forced to challenge you to a fisticuffs now for the disrespect yesterday. So
I love you, Harding. You don't, but I maybe I misread some of the stuff about Fields, and I'm glad to know that there was some sarcasm in the notion that you can't hire a coach because their fans are always complaining about said coach. The fans in Philly want Nick Sirianni fired. Like fans in Pittsburgh want Mike Tomlin fired.
The mob is fickle, my friend.
Yeah, I wouldn't make my determination on what
Harding
the fans
just challenged you to pugilistic activity, and know this: the Marcus of Queensberry rules are in effect.
Nobody doubts.
No rabbit punches. No punching in the kidneys.
Nobody doubts Justin Fields' talent. Nobody. Nobody doubts his ability to field on the field or his arm strength ever. What difference does it make if you won't let it rip? doesn't matter. And he won't let it rip.
He's the guy that makes the decision.
He does it in very few little, like, brief spurts. So that's the problem with, I think, Justin Fields going forward and Justin ever really evolving into a franchise quarterback. He won't let it rip.
So here's the play. The play that he made in the corner of the end zone to DJ Moore.
That was a great one.
And that's the throw that needs to be made. Too often than not, you don't see him ripping that ball where it needs to go.
Right.
That one he ripped with all the confidence in the world.
Press conference scheduled for 3 today.
3 o'clock today?
Just got word. Yep. Thanks, Adam.
Darn, why? We should have 1. Then like a nice 45-minute press conference.
3, well, allows the coordinator to join us at 1, that's for sure. Yeah, you're right. He just doesn't do it often enough. And that, I think, is the big issue with Justin. And they have to figure out, like, is it fixable? And if it's not, and we can upgrade again, we're talking about upgrades.
Don't tell the world it's not fixable.
I know that. I'm saying internally.
Yeah.
Well, why would they tell the world it's not?
That's
Yeah,
my
they're going to
point.
come out and Ryan Poles,
This is why we traded him.
Ryan Poles is going to go
do this and this
hey,
and this and this.
By the way, we really, here's our thoughts on the draft. We're going to draft Caleb Williams. We don't think he can throw into tight windows. Anybody want to trade for him? I'm saying internally, if they've reached that conclusion and they think there's a upgrade to be made, I think you have to do that. Should always be looking to upgrade. Reggie's in Richmond. What's up, Reggie?
Hello. I think the Bears should keep Fields. And another thing, if they do trade him and he goes somewhere else and succeed in the quarterback that they draft, and he don't have a good season, you all gonna be wanting to run him out of town after one season.
I feel like you called when you said Mitch Trubisky was going to go somewhere else and be awesome too, right, Reggie?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Thought you did, man.
I'm talking about Fields.
Okay. You didn't call him like 4 years ago and say the Bears are going to.
No, I did. No, I did.
Are you sure?
No, I'm positive.
Okay, thanks, Reggie. Tom's in Toledo on ESPN 1000. What's up, Tom?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I don't know if you guys remember me. I called about 6 weeks ago, and I ran this scenario kind of by you. Who would you rather have as a resume? I mean, Jetson or Fields?
Who would I rather have? Justin or who?
Or Justin Fields or Jetson.
Oh.
I mean, who has the better resume? And as far as an offensive coordinator, a new guy would be licking his chops. If things go to plan, the way I see it, the Bears in the draft are going to trade down from 1 to 2, and maybe 2 to 3. They're going to get Marvin Harrison. What offensive coordinator wouldn't be licking his chops and going, man, are you kidding me? Marvin Harrison, C.J. Moore, Justin Fields, and maybe another tight end or a good center. And man, I think the offense could be pretty good. As far as Eberflus, I think he's done a pretty good job as far as keeping the team together. I mean, and the defense went from 31st against the rush to 1st? That shows a great promise. I think if we got maybe Marvin Harrison, a 3 technique maybe, or another safety to replace, you know what I'm talking about, to replace
Eddie Jackson.
Correct. I mean, I think we're going to be pretty good next year. And like I said, an offensive coordinator is got to be thinking, man, who's to say?
Tom, I'm sure Luke Getsy was licking his chops at his offensive weapons this year. How did that work?
What experience did he have? 2 years worth? And he came from Green Bay. Give me a break. He's bringing in guys from Green Bay like Kanyan, and all due respect to the big tight end we just brought in. But he's a Packer.
I don't know what I'm not sure I know what that means.
Well, come on now.
Yeah, I'm not sure I know what that means.
He's a Packer, so he can't coach. Get out of here.
I mean, come on.
I've had enough of this.
Is this what we're doing now?
I've had enough of the silliness. No, we let him talk, and then he finished with, he's a Packer. That doesn't mean nothing.
I don't get the point, like, any OC would be licking his chops. Of course, like, I would be licking my chops. If they hired me,
right,
I'd be like, hey, this is awesome. I get to design plays for DJ Moore, Justin Fields, and Marvin Harrison Jr. What the hell does that mean?
Do you think they're at Green Bay right now on the radio complaining because there's a Butkus coaching the offensive line for the Green Bay Packers? He's a Butkus.
Come on, guys.
He hated Butkus.
I mean, do you think that's what they're doing up there, or are they having an intelligent football conversation?
Let's try to get real.
Come on now.
I'm sure Luke Getzey was very excited at the offensive weapons the Bears had that he had at his disposal this year. What does that mean? They didn't do a good enough job, and he's out of a job. So, okay. I wouldn't worry about what the offensive coordinator, like if he's licking his chops or not. Find the right offensive coordinator from Green Bay or anywhere else. 312-332-3776.
If you gotta go to college and find a guy,
I'm fine. So be it. Find the right guy.
If you want to go to Australian rules football and find a guy that's developed a nice 40-meter hand pass,
I don't care what you do.
For crying out loud.
Find them, for heaven's sake.
We'll be right back.
You're listening to Carmen and Yurko on Chicago's Home for Sports, ESPN Chicago.
TaxAct knows you don't look forward to taxes. TaxAct doesn't even look forward to taxes, and TaxAct is a tax software company. It's basically TaxAct's whole thing. If TaxAct did things over, maybe TaxAct would end up teaching kindergarten or leading fly fishing tours. But that's a different story for a different